I love when people can bid off each other, friends, brothers, and they don't get offended, neither one of them, and they make it funny. There's two people that I really want to meet, but first, I have to meet two people. I gotta stop feeling people's pain. The pending doom, especially on people that you love a certain way, but they don't understand. They don't understand why you love them like that, because they don't even consider it love. I gotta learn to just let go, let things happen. If I can't control it, can't control it. But if I can see it, boy, I gotta stop feeling other people's pain. I want to thank whoever it was that sent me like $20 on PayPal. I think Steve, your name was. And thanks for letting me know that the extraterrestrials they got my back. But I'm looking to get out of here, go to Florida. Just start over. Go back home where I came from, Bartow. I was born in Bartow. I lived in Lakeland up until I was about 5. And I mean, I didn't really want to move. I had no choice. But now that I have a choice, but I'm still working on trying to get somebody from Ohio. There's a lot of agents in Ohio, isn't there? No. It's either one of those things where you have to say something first, and then it triggers the person on the computer on the other end. So if you just answer it and you don't say anything, it's either that, or it's just somebody from Ohio that wants to talk to me. I'm just getting them in the video. But yeah, it's time to. Either way, it's time for something to change. Warmer weather, nicer people. Yeah, people in a better. They're in a better mood because the weather is just warmer. I mean, I don't see why weather couldn't be warm like this all the time, or like the way it is in San Diego in the 70s, or even like the way it is in Southern California. You ever find it odd that it never rained there? And you think that they don't control the weather? "18 seconds. It ain't like you're bothering me. I'm just painting rails, pushing record, talking to myself. Like, oh, he's really messing with me. No. because none of it's worth any type of agitation whatsoever. Because you don't know truly what it is. So you can't judge it one way or another. It could just be somebody trying to collect the bill because I'm a deadbeat and I didn't pay my credit cards and I let them go. That could be the case because I lived in the flesh. I've always been in debt because I make stupid decisions with money that I did make. And then in the end, I wind up with nothing, and it's going to take a while to get to my goal, which is to Florida. Because everything costs money. If you want to keep your vehicle, what do? Drive it down there, save $1,000. But man, that's like a 17-hour drive all the way down there. Have somebody follow you. Then it goes back to that. Wow. To stay up 17 hours is asking for a lot. But either way, I could have been there sooner if I was smarter. But I wasn't smarter. I was dumber. Definitely dumber. And I was pretty dumb, and then I got dumber. Now I'm just trying, it's not that I'm smart at all, I'm just trying not to be stupid. That's all I can do. I can't say, oh, man, I'm so smart, because I'm not. I am not. The amount of mistakes I made in my life just doesn't even make sense. The mindset was my flesh, my carnal mind, my first thought. The one that you guys have trouble with. You have this first thought. But now you don't know if the first thought is legitimate fear, or just fear of fear itself. You can have legitimate fear because it's something known, a newly known information. Could give you some fear, could give you some worrisome feelings, could make you feel I guess you just feel for the people that you have information on. But you gotta remember I gotta remember as I'm talking to myself, with other people listening, because surveillance is this is how it's been. I understand why you create it, you're going to use it. You gave us electricity, well, you're going to have the ability to hear, see in certain devices that you would just never really think. But obviously this one here, that's why, one of the reasons why I kept talking out loud is because I already understood that we were being surveilled. Not to the magnitude that I know now. But what does it matter? What does it matter? People judge you for your life, how you live your life, don't they? Isn't that what the problem is with the world? They judge you because you don't believe what they believe. Because if you did, it would benefit them, not you. So therefore, if you don't believe it, there's a tendency to force you to either agree or not agree. And so your hand is forced. You don't really want to do certain things, but you don't want to be harassed, like as in if you believe in Jesus. You don't want people to think that you believe in him. That's why there's an alternate Jesus. There's another one. There's a couple of them, actually. There's a couple good ones. And everybody has everybody has room to move back down into the position that they originally were. Because when you exalt yourself one step forward, you become somebody different. Like when John was baptizing, and he had to decrease, and then Christ had to increase. Just like Elijah had to decrease, and Elisha had to increase. There's 1 Peter, there's 2 Peter, there's John 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 different epistles written. There's Mark, Matthew, Luke, John. It's like, which John is that though? There's so many Johns. Is John the Revelator John the Baptist? Well, no, he couldn't have possibly been, because he had his head amputated. I mean, he had his... It's like when you want someone's head on a platter, you want that person, you want their brain to be handed to you. That way you can just know it. You get to know that brain, and then now you know what it's thinking. And you get a double portion off of that too. Everybody learns off each other. I learned a tremendous amount from others on the YouTube platform. Even the biggest liars on the planet, I've learned from them. I learned that when you're a liar, and it's just what you do, and you don't really have you don't feel bad at all for lying to anybody. Matter of fact, you actually enjoy it, because just the fact that you can get over on somebody gives you that feeling. It's fulfilling your flesh. That's all it is. You can call it evil, good, demonic, satanic, or angelic. It's just you reacting off of your first initial thought of, I really love when they don't know that I know what they don't. I mean, it's so great. I love it. But then what happens when they start to know what you thought nobody knew, but nobody told them what you knew that they weren't, or he or she, or a specific individual wasn't supposed to know? Well, here's what you do to that person. You make him a scapegoat, and you just gotta blame him for something that isn't his fault, and you gotta pierce him and slander his name and defecate on his character. That's what you do. I mean, it's not what you should do, but that's what happened. That's what happens. So just for talking about things, just for speaking your mind. Now there's 2 types of Elijahs that I'm aware of, because again, everybody has room to move up a notch. Like you move down a notch. When Christ shows up, you move down. If you're not in the right position, when Christ shows up, you move up one more notch if you're already in the right position. If not, you move down. So whatever fruits are going to continue to grow, they stay. Everything else gets plucked up twice by the root. If you want to take it the other way, being plucked up twice with like the host body system, and you have it like Burger King. But the Bible has purposely been led for you to perceive a certain way. That way you'll live in fear. You won't know the truth, and you can't set yourself free. So you don't have to go around snitching on your company or anything. You just be meek from here on out. Because if you truly are meek, then you're gonna inherit this earth. Don't let anybody lie to you. The earth is up for grabs. People are gonna come to you and act as if you have no choice. But you do. You just gotta be patient. So it's like they have a God. The ones that were playing God, the ones that are ye are all gods. You can take that how you want to take it too, because ye are all gods. But we're all God's children, and so Christ said that he said, haven't I said that ye are all gods? And he was just the Son of God. So what's the big deal there? He never said that he was God. He just said that what the information he was getting is from another source, and it's not a source that comes from the other side until those spirits meet. So their God is picked, and there's obviously, if there isn't a real God, well then we still, basically, I guess we'd probably be in the beginning of tribulation, like the first 7 years. If there isn't a God that they have in mind yet, then we're at the beginning. So for the past 3.5 years, because of that Revelation 12 sign, obviously that is what's being determined. Because there's 1,260 days, 1,290 days, there's 1,335 days. And everything's coming up. Just feels like this year it's almost like there's a couple more pages left to fulfill each day. And then that fan, I don't know why you would have crap near a fan, and when it hits it, but if you did have any crap near it, it just seems like that's one way or another, whether that's finally legitimately realistic and it actually happens, and Philadelphia has a little bit of strength, because today is May 11th, 2021. Just in case if I say something, that might come true. Who knows? Never does. 5:01 Tuesday, May 11th. Oh, Derek's birthday is tomorrow. I think he's going to be 54. Just like Studio 54. Is that going to be your 60th day as well, since you were missing in action? Because I know when there's a change in the change in the White House, when there's an exchange of power, there's a 60-day standstill, and that's what happened at the Capitol when all that stuff went down. And I haven't seen Derek on YouTube since the day before Jonathan Kleck's birthday. 3:15. Maybe your birthday was 3:16, Johnny. But what if somebody else was born on 3:15? Is there really twins? I mean, is there really two Johnnies? That's crazy if there is. Like, how do you even know that there's two Johnnies? Who told you that there was two of us, Robin? Who told you that there's an Adam clique and an Eve clique? Well, that could just be my own illusion, and I'm wrong, and I think it's highly possible. And one of them, it's like one of them, Eve gets reacquainted with God first, and because she has a conversation with him, and then Adam, because God came to Eve first and asked her, like, "Yo, what the hell did you do?" The serpent did it. It's Satan. It's his fault. And then Adam afterwards, and he's like, "You know that woman you gave me? Thanks, God. Well, she's the one that tricked me. She tricked me." So Adam and Eve is brother and sister being played out. Adam and Eve in one vessel being played out. And those people that are playing this out, you guys know who they are. I take guesses and I make conclusions. But again, I really don't know anything. Just been talking to myself for the past 4 years. Kind of getting tired of talking to myself. Honestly. But I wanted to know the truth, didn't I? I know ultimately I'm not talking to myself. But sometimes I get tired of it because I can be patient because after all, this is going to be the first time that the world has ever changed into anything that's good, going from what it is now to complete Christ ruling, the reign coming, the reign is here. See, the reign was being hidden. You know, Elijah didn't make himself known as to who he was until around that time. And as the real Elijah, keeping that a secret, it wasn't so much a secret. It was just that he knew, and he knew that others didn't. So, and then how do you know? Well, only you know. And then there always happens to be like two other types of people that see the same thing. Therefore, when there's two or more, obviously there's the same because it's two witnesses, and more is the person that they're witnessing about. Because what they're seeing is what they see is the reality of things settling in, like manifesting in the real world. So Elijah, the second Elijah, the one that basically, it's like you move up a notch, because there's one that does it literal, and then there is the actual spiritual manifestation that happens with another literal person. But it's not going to be anybody that you really know. That's the thing. So that's why it's all like, that's why Elijah kept it to himself, went to Ahab. I mean, I don't even know if he knew who Ahab was, but somehow he found him in the group of people. He also found Jezebel. He found Jezebel in a specific woman, and then I remember Jacob said, "But just going to get eaten by the dogs. It's going to get eaten by dogs. Jezebel, you know what? You're going to get eaten by dogs." And So did she really get eaten by the dogs? Or did she get torn up? Like, you got tore up. When you're in a boxing match, what happens when you get tore up? Like, man, oh my God, that fight, the dude got tore up. Well, that's what happens. It's a fight. It's a spiritual battle. Jezebel gets it first. She gets slain first. I believe that's the story. And then Ahab, because as you being the story, as you being a single individual named Joe Schmo, your name's Joe Schmo. God comes to Joe Schmo, Elijah. He says to Elijah, he's telling Elijah to cast that Jezebel spirit out of him. So if you have that Jezebel spirit, you're a regular human being, but you have that spirit in you. God's telling you to cast it out. But he's also telling the man, that's you, the body, to cast out the feminine, demonic spirit. That one, to cast that out of you. And then, when you have Elijah, the spirit talking to you, well then that's how you get the power to do that to your own self. Because in the end, we all got to do that to ourselves if you struggle with that spirit. Like Andrew struggled with that spirit. Remember? Jamie the Wabbit? Jamie the Wabbit. Hey, Jamie the Wabbit. And if that wasn't you, you damn sure know who it was. Either way, you're guilty, Andrew. But I'm going to give him a pardon because I love him. And I appreciate the conversations I had, even though I didn't know, what was really going on. But I was just, whatever, cared. I'm just talking. I'm just being myself. Whatever I thought. Talking to people that, it's like, why am I talking to these people? It's social anxiety. So, interesting how this YouTube world meshed into some kind of playing out the Bible's end time prophecy. And there's groups of people that are all involved. And I had no clue that it was even a thing. I had no clue that it was even a thing. But, so, let's say this. Here's the truth. There's two top controllers on this planet. And they are both playing out the same character. They play it out in a different way. They can either play it out in twins, 1 and 2 punch, but it's really the other one that's acting out a role. And so you can't really tell who's who, because either way, there would be 3 unclean frogs. So playing that Christ role, but is that Lucifer? No, wait, that's Satan, right? No, Satan's not Lucifer's Satan. Wait a minute, I thought Jesus was Yahushua, Yahshamalak. He is, but so is King Yeshua, the highest of Almighty. And then there's all these titles, and it gets really confusing, and that's obviously the whole point, because who's the author of confusion? If you get people to separate everything, you're not going to know. That's why when Christ actually tells you, when he's speaking to you, and you hear him tell you, Do not go to the desert because he's not going to be there. Do not go over to wherever the other place is he's talking about because he's not there either. But he's talking to you, his disciples. He's not talking to the others because they don't even hear what he's saying. Can't even see him. So don't go over there. Don't go in that direction. Don't go in that direction. But there's a candidate to be that guy. That guy is going to be the God Almighty, but he's not going to actually be. Even though he's going to believe it 100%, but I don't even know how anybody can even think that about themselves. Like, you're the only one. Because if you are, how did you know? Who told you? Gematria? Well, then you're believing, you have a perception that is going to lead you in a wrong direction. To say it kindly. To say it spoken like a true Mason. I know all the Masons' secrets. And I'm allowed to say it out loud without getting my throat slit or my tongue ripped out by the roots. Because I don't need to swear to any type of secrecy because I never joined. You guys can join me if you want. I'm just not joining the shh part. What's the big deal? It's your body, it's your flesh. You're doing it to yourself, right? Well, when you get other people to do it, then you're still in that spirit where that's just what you want to do. There's no second guessing. It's just, let's do it. So you do it. How old are you? How much longer do you have to live when this fleshly bag body dies and when your bones start to show through the flesh, whether you have AI metal bones, rods of iron mixed with miry clay, or actual bones, you'll see the implant that was inserted inside, and you'll see how AI was mixed with that. But that's your decision. It's free will. Nobody can tell you what to do. They can only strongly urge you to do it or else.